Grand evening, everyone. It is Thursday, March 19th, 2026. It is technically Grand Rising now, and we have some emergency breaking news to cover here tonight. Well, this morning, and it is definitely at the emergency level here this morning. This is initially a live stream recording that is posted to my YouTube channel in the live section, as all of my YouTube videos, streams more accurately, are that way. Please like, comment, share to those you know who may need it and are interested. This is vitally important to humanity. Let's get to the news here in a moment. Stand by. I suppose we'll start all the way over here this morning, technically. Um, it is after 1 a.m., 0111 hours in the morning, Central Daylight Time. I made the mistake last time of calling it Standard Time. Central Daylight Time. So, Taiwan, there are reports that Taiwan is going to run out of power in less than 10 days now. So, in about 10 days, Taiwan is expected to run out of power. Then they may be surrounded and blockaded and then it's the rest of their resources like gasoline and other vital resources may be blocked off by the Chinese. It may be part of their plan. As you could see here from this news source, it didn't happen that night, though it will happen very soon. China may attack Taiwan very soon, I'll say. They thought it would be that night. The Fujian carrier group is closing in, and there are over 26 PLA jets and 7 warships surrounding the island. Let's see. It happened at that time. Taiwan, I think that's the Ministry of Defense, has confirmed all of that news. So the Chinese invasion of Taiwan, especially blockade, is absolutely imminent. Then we have this here from Viktor Orban, the Hungarian Prime Minister. This is what he said. Europe will send its troops to Ukraine. I can't give the exact date and time, though he said expect it. So he said, Europe will send its troops to Ukraine. I can't give the exact date and time expected. End quote. That was from the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. So we have European troops at some point soon will be going into Ukraine to fight Russia directly, to support the Ukrainian forces there and fight Russia in direct conflict. That is a certainty, according to the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. Then we have this here. Cuba is without a power grid that is working right now. Cuban officials have said, and it is reported, it is widely known now, that the country's national electric grid has collapsed, leaving the entire nation without electricity. So we have the entire island of Cuba without electricity. This is an interesting thing to study, as I said there, what the people do and how everything goes there. I said, watch what the people do there and what happens overall. It'll be far worse in the US when it happens. I still agree with that myself there to the even now. It will be far worse when that happens here in the US. So watch as closely as possible, though it is very difficult. I haven't seen really anything coming out of Cuba. Know if we can and we could get reports out of there what the people are doing and what's going on in Cuba right now. It is a very important thing to study and know psychologically and of what all of those people there in Cuba are doing, the people themselves and the government in Cuba. It could be total anarchy there by now. I expect it to be by now. It's been days in Cuba. That was about March 16th. So it's been 3 days almost in Cuba without any electricity in the entire country on their island in Cuba. Absolutely historic, very a very interesting thing to study, to be sure. One second. Okay, I had to deal with something. Continuing on with the news here from NBC. NBC reported recently, also that day, on a cable to the U.S. State Department that Iran has shown intentions and capabilities to launch attacks in the United States and other countries. So Iran has capabilities, according to mainstream media reporting and the U.S. State Department, to launch attacks in the United States and other countries. So we can expect attacks from Iran very soon here in the United States, and Europe can expect that as well. Iran now has intentions and capabilities to launch attacks in the United States and other countries. That will happen it is coming even from the mainstream media source NBC and the U.S. State Department. Absolutely huge and historic news there. Then this here is a very important point from this source here. It's not exactly after oil, it's around the same time. When it comes to wheat, rice, and corn, all of those things may go into a famine of sorts. There is potential for a famine at some point. When it comes to World War III and all wars, famines follow shortly after war. It is going to happen at some point, especially when there is no gasoline left in, say, this country for use. And Australia is another great example. We talked about that the last time. Australia will be out of fuel within the next 2 weeks. So when that happens, there's no shipping of anything with truck deliveries, trains, boats. So those things that run on diesel, it will not be shipped. There goes, that's a total supply chain collapse when the price of oil rises to unaffordable levels. Then I reposted this here. Everything is about to collapse. Everything, even listed here. Everything. This is just some of it. Everything is about to collapse. That is a true statement. The U.S. economy, stocks, cryptos, real estate, everything. Everything is the most accurate way to put it. Everything is about to collapse, especially the U.S. economy, the global supply chain, and the supply chain that has to do with all of that shipping when it comes to the trucks, the trains, and the boats for shipping. The global supply chain is about to collapse. All of those things listed there is about to collapse. The world as we know it now is about to collapse. It does not take much. It takes one thing to cause a total collapse of all of those things listed there. Gas becoming totally unaffordable will result in all of those things there collapsing. That is how it works. Not just here in the US, the world. That is how it works. Oil is a vital resource and it is becoming unaffordable and almost simply unobtainable in large enough means. This is a very intense emergency update here. We have reports of a the US airborne, that's like the 82nd airborne. We have an airborne division, potentially the 82nd airborne, has landed on Iran's Karg Island to likely capture and occupy the island so we could have that oil infrastructure there, keep it all intact, and clear the enemy from Karg Island. That is why ground forces, the U.S. Airborne, that's one of them that has been reported, is on Karg Island, clearing the enemies there, capturing and then occupying Karg Island. Absolutely historic news here tonight overall. It's huge. Absolutely historic. I like the term historic more than biblical for lots of reasons. It makes a lot more sense, for one. We have officials saying, this is from Raw News Alerts, officials saying, and officials say that President Donald Trump plans to take full control of the Strait of Hormuz by force in a move that could also last several weeks. It could last far beyond several weeks, that is reported there. I think it will last far beyond several weeks. It could last several months, trying to take full control of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran can fire missiles from the land and the coastlines to stop the U.S. from taking full control of the Strait of Hormuz. That is the highest thing of difficulty to do, is dealing with all of the missiles that Iran can fire, which they have near endless supply. I'm not sure exactly how long they could do it, though they could do it for at least several weeks, firing missiles to defend the Strait of Hormuz, their occupation of the Strait of Hormuz. So that will be a very difficult thing to get full control of the Strait of Hormuz for the U.S. and other forces that may participate in that, though it will mainly be the U.S. forces, such as the U.S. Navy, likely the Navy SEALs, and the Marine Corps. Okay. Then we have this most concerning thing. This is also highly concerning, very, very interesting. We have sirens that have been blaring nearly nonstop in Georgia, and locals are saying this is not normal. So these are not just tests. They are doing this over and over, making sure it works. Georgia and the U.S. forces in Georgia may be expecting to be attacked soon. I'm not sure of all the infrastructure there that would be attacked, though it is Georgia. So they may have a lot of critical infrastructure there that may be attacked.
Non-stop, all day. Alarms, announcements. You can't tell me this is normal. I've been working out here for 15, 20 years, right on this stretch of 41. I could hear this. They do a test Wednesday. Every once in a while, there's something random. This shit is not normal. Y'all get ready.
So this is not normal. He's 100% right. That is not normal at all. There are sirens that have been blaring. It seems to be for hours and hours. And this is mainly coming from what Dobbins Air Reserve Base is calling a controlled simulation. So that is around Dobbins Air Reserve Base in Georgia. Blaring sirens nearly nonstop over there. Very interesting. Some kind of preparation there. Then we have Tulsi Gabbard saying this. This is breaking news from earlier yesterday. Tulsi Gabbard has said Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and Pakistan are all building advanced missiles, nuclear and conventional, and all of them are able to hit the U.S., which is becoming a threat. No, that is a threat already. It's not becoming a threat. It is a threat already. It's not just a claim either. So that is a threat already. It is not a claim. They are all doing that. And she is saying it here next to two of these generals that are Marine Corps generals. These are both Marine Corps generals. They are in the Marine Corps, the U.S. Marine Corps.
However, the intelligence community assesses that Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and Pakistan have been researching and developing an array of novel, advanced, or traditional missile delivery systems with nuclear and conventional payloads that put our homeland within range. However, the intelligence community assesses that Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and Pakistan have been researching and developing an array of novel, advanced, or traditional missile delivery systems with nuclear and conventional payloads that put our homeland within range. However, the intelligence community assesses that
the intelligence community has made that assessment. It is a true fact. Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and Pakistan are all building advanced missiles, nuclear and conventional, both of those, and all of them are able to hit the U.S., which is not just becoming a threat, it is a threat. That is an assessment from the intelligence community, I believe she said.
However, the intelligence community assesses
Yes.
that
That is an assessment from the U.S. intelligence community. Absolutely historic, very concerning news. We have a very high, legitimate nuclear risk right now. It is higher than ever before in the history, in modern history right now. People need to prepare for nuclear war at this point. That is very likely what is about to happen. Nuclear war seems very imminent right now. There is no stopping all of the escalation that has happened. We have nuclear war very likely imminent. People need to prepare for nuclear war now. That is what it has come to during World War III that is happening now. We have Japan's stock market. They dropped 3% as oil prices have skyrocketed. That is some recent breaking news within the last few hours. So everything is collapsing, as that other post said. Not just those things that were listed, everything is collapsing. Which I've expected all that to happen last year, though it is happening this year. Then we have this here. The largest LNG plant in the world is on fire in Qatar. LNG stands for liquid natural gas, if I remember it correctly. It is on fire. It is, I believe it is destroyed now. Here's a video of that. This happened shortly after Israel bombed Iran's gas fields over there, which may be further bombed in a moment coming up. I will read that in a moment after this video.
सामने बढ़ाओ सामने बढ़ाओ
So we have that massive explosion that happened there. That largest LNG plant in the world got really blown up and is on fire there in Qatar. That was some hours ago, earlier. It's still likely on fire, even all those hours ago after that massive explosion. There's likely fires there even now. That place is likely totally destroyed. Shortly after that, the UAE announced their gas production is now at zero. The UAE has announced, the UAE announces there in this post that our gas production is now zero. There is no gas production coming from the UAE now, the United Arab Emirates. I expect the price of oil to be through the roof later on. Right now, it is at, let's see, WTI is at just under $100 per barrel. It's at 96 roughly. And we have Brent crude that is at over $112 per barrel. It is at $112.86 per barrel, about. Those are rough numbers there, though very accurate. So, absolutely huge historical emergency news there. We are coming up on 30 minutes for this initially live stream recording that will be posted to my YouTube channel. I will be continuing to look at all of the news to do with nuclear war and all of that, everything nuclear going on. We have a potential nuclear incident that may happen if they destroy where Israel recently bombed. They called it I forget the name of the fields. It's one of the largest gas fields in Iran that was bombed. And if they do an attack like I just showed there, again, if Iran doesn't attack on the UAE as I showed there, President Trump has said this before I close out this live stream. He has said this. There's quite a bit here. This is from the President of the United States on his Truth Social. That's his platform. He said, this is from the President of the United States. He said, Israel, out of anger for what has taken place in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as South Pars gas field in Iran. Okay, that's what it's called. Okay, he also said, this is the rest of it, of what he said, a relatively small section of the entire gas field. He said a small section of the whole has been hit. The United States knew nothing about this particular attack, and the country of Qatar was in no way, shape, or form involved with it, nor did it have any idea that it was going to happen. Unfortunately, Iran did not know this or any of the pertinent facts pertaining to the South Pars attack, and unjustifiably and unfairly attacked a portion of Qatar's LNG gas facility. As we saw, it was blown up there. Continuing on with what the President of the U.S. said, no more attacks will be made by Israel pertaining to this extremely important and valuable South Pars field unless Iran unwisely decides to attack a very innocent, in this case, Qatar, in which instance the United States of America, with or without the help or consent of Israel, will massively blow up the entirety of the South Pars gas field at an amount of strength and power that Iran has never seen or witnessed before. I do not want to authorize this level of violence and destruction because of the long term implication that it will have on the future of Iran. But if Qatar's LNG is again attacked, I will not hesitate. I will not hesitate to do so. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. That's what he said. So if that LNG gas plant is attacked again, which that may have been enough, as the UAE has announced their gas production is now at zero. So that may have been enough. And we'll see if the president destroys the South Pars gas field in Iran, which will have a huge effect on Iran, even in the very long term. That may put Iran out of oil, or just about. They would likely heavily rely on Russia and maybe even China for oil in that case, in that matter. So we'll see what the President of the United States authorizes and does over in the Middle East. We have a lot going on over there, as we talked about here, especially with those countries that are listed there that we talked about. They are developing doomsday weaponry. They are developing nuclear and conventional weapons that are able to hit the U.S., which is a threat now, not becoming. That is a threat now. And if this place here, this is what he's talking about, the president, if this place here gets hit again, that's what he said as a condition, though he may do it anyway since they're not able to use it, it seems. Again, we will see what the President of the United States does and authorizes as for attacks in the Middle East. This war, this is World War III. It will not end anytime soon. It looks like it is going nuclear very soon. So please, everyone, prepare for the very high possibility of nuclear war now. Prepare for World War III to intensify. Prepare for SHTF. I will be back soon with further news and personal analysis on everything that I see here that is going on. What a time this is. Prepare. Do not be afraid. Stay grounded. Prepare for all of those things that I have mentioned. And all who do so will be far better off than over 90% of people. For now, love, light, and blessings to you all.